If you are a millennial like me, you probably played a lot of video games. And you're also probably aware that the world of video games has evolved far beyond simple entertainment. Today, virtual economies within games like Fortnite, World of Warcraft, and Counter-Strike handle billions of dollars in transaction every year. And wherever there is money, there is also crime. Bad actors are exploiting online games to launder money, scam players, and evade detection. The gaming industry is massive, is fast moving, and most importantly, for many criminals, it is under-regulated or not regulated at all for money laundering. In today's video, we're talking about why cyber laundering through online games is the laundering method of choice of many criminals nowadays. If you clicked on this video, I'm going to assume that you know what money laundering is or what it means. And if you don't, I have literally dozens of videos in which talk about this, so go check them out. But in short, money laundering is the process of making illicit funds appear clean by a series of transactions. The goal of money laundering is to put distance between the crime and the funds. Games like Fortnite, Counter-Strike, and Second Life have in-game items that can be cosmetics like skins or can be useful for the game like gems or lives. And these items can be gained during the game, they can be found, or they can be purchased. They also have a value inside the game and outside the game, and they can be traded sometimes. They function like token that can be used for money laundering. Gaming platform can be closed loops or open loop. So for the closed loop, for example, you may be able to purchase an item in the game with real money, or you can find it or you can gain it through your game, through your skills, but you cannot cash it out. You cannot sell it out of the platform. And then there are semi-open or open loop platform. And in this game, in this type of platforms, you can buy the item, you can trade the item, you can find it, but you can also cash it out. You can sell it for real money, for fiat currency. In the real world, when a company handles clients' transactions and clients' assets, they need to comply with anti-money laundering regulation, which involves identifying the customers and monitoring transactions. Gaming platforms say that because the money is not real money and because their platforms are closed loops, they don't have to comply with anti-money laundering regulations. The reality is far more complex than this, and in this video, I will tell you about a couple of ways in which these items can be used for money laundering, showing that those platforms are not as closed loop as they claim to be. Big disclaimer here, this is educational purpose only. Absolutely do not launder money through a gaming platform, please. There are a few ways in which criminals can use gaming platforms to launder money. One way, it's kind of old-fashioned, and it is commingling of funds that usually in the real world is done through cash-intensive businesses like car wash or dollar shops or restaurants, stuff like that. In the online game, it will work more or less like this. A criminal syndicate buy a gaming company, or they create a new game, they use some of their illicit money, they invest it into developing a game. But anyway, either way, they have a game now, and the game have in-app purchases or in-game micro purchases. So for example, any of those mobile phone games in which you can buy gems, you can buy lives, you can buy superpower, and those are all $5-10. Those are micro purchases to buy something within the game. Those things will be bought by many normal users, like legitimate people that have an account and that just want to play the game. But also the criminal syndicate would create hundreds of fake users, hundreds of fake accounts, and through those fake accounts, they will funnel the illicit funds. For example, they will use stolen accounts, stolen credit cards, stolen PayPal accounts, and funnel their money through those fake accounts into the game. Inside of the game, those fake account purchases, those illicit money purchases will be indistinguishable from the normal user purchases, the two source of funds will be commingled, and impossible to distinguish from one from the other, just like you would do with cash in a car wash or something like that. Another way to launder money through gaming, for example, let's say a hacker steals someone's PayPal account that has $1,000 in it. First, they transfer the money to 2 or 3 fake PayPal accounts that they also control, just to muddy the paper trail for that. Then they use the fake accounts to buy in-game currency, let's say gold in World of Warcraft. The criminal sells the in-game currency through a third-party site. Usually the item will be sold at a discount, and someone buy it unknowingly. The hacker gets $800 back, is now clean, and can be deposited in a bank account without flagging any alarms, and the buyer think that they just got a good bargain. Sure, the hacker have lost some money, but they can keep most of it and they can stay off the radar. This technique is called also micro laundering, which involves selling small amount thousands of times. Hacker can make this process even faster by automatizing the system with some AI or some software. And another similar way, instead of selling the gold, will be to sell the entire World of Warcraft account with the gold and anything else that is in it. The problems start with many gaming companies view their asset as purely virtual, as purely items that can be used only within their proprietary virtual worlds, and the fact that many gaming companies claim that their gaming assets have no monetary value, they are irredeemable for fiat currency, and their environments function as closed markets. But that is obviously misleading, and it's honestly it's just false. We've just looked at a couple of ways in which bad actors can exploit in-game tokens to launder money, and pretty much in my opinion, in-game tokens, the best way to look at them, it's that they are very similar to cryptocurrency. The Financial Action Task Force, also called FATF, is the global standard setter for anti-money laundering all around the world in different jurisdictions of the world, and it updated its guidance in 2018 to also include virtual assets. According to the FATF, a virtual asset is a digital representation of value that can be digitally traded or transferred and can be used for payment or investment purposes. This definition clearly encompasses many in-game currencies, especially those that can be traded and sold in secondary market or converted into real world money. For gaming companies to suggest that in-game tokens are harmless or irrelevant for financial crime, it's like, I don't know how to say, it's kind of bullshit. So why do these companies still drag their feet on this topic? For one simple reason: profit. Anti-money laundering compliance means paperwork, audits, and profit loss, and companies simply do not want to have to deal with that. Because the token to fiat currency transactions are not done within the platform, but through a third party provider, the gaming companies say that they are out of the platform, they are not the concern, and they are used outside of the terms of service of the platform. And because of that, it's not a problem. But not all gaming platforms are the same. There are some notable examples, and I'll talk specifically about one. In 2019, Linden Lab, the developer of Second Life, announced a significant policy shift requiring all users engaging in financial transaction within the platform to register with its wholly owned subsidiary, Tilia Inc. Tilia is a licensed money service licensed in 46 US states. As a registered money service business, Tilia is subject to a comprehensive set of anti-money laundering obligations. This include robust customer due diligence procedure, which mandate the collection and verification of identities before allowing individuals to engage in transaction involving real-world money. Antilia is responsible for ongoing transaction monitoring and the filing of suspicious activity reports with FinCEN when Tilia identifies behavior that could indicate money laundering, fraud, or other illicit conduct. A solution like Second Life is pretty good because there are lots of platforms that have the gaming platform owned by a company and the trading platform, the third party trading platform owned by somebody else. And that's kind of create a little bit of dissonance and duality that can be difficult to manage in a solution in which the gaming platform and the trading financial platform are owned by the same company. It certainly gives more oversight and more transparency. So I think it will work great for a lot of gaming companies. But the reality is that a lot of gaming companies don't want to deal with that. So they will still want to have a separate third party provider and they will not want to open their loop in any way. But those third party providers, those providers that transfer the token, the in-game item into cash, into real money, they have to be regulated somehow. They need to deal with anti-money laundering. But for this type of companies to be regulated, many of them will not do it spontaneously like Second Life have done. It's very rare that a company decides spontaneously to comply with the regulation that they're not legally mandated to do. So the only way for making those companies to be compliant with anti-money laundering legislation is to amend the national legislation to say that those transfer from in-game token to real money is covered by anti-money laundering regulation and it has to be compliant with the necessary checks that all other companies need to deal with. Unfortunately, regulators are always a little bit behind when it comes to new technologies. Criminals are always one step ahead of us, unfortunately. So, if in the 1970s the majority of money laundering was done through banks and other normal financial institutions, nowadays, because the regulations are tighter and tighter in those sectors, criminals move away. Not that money laundering doesn't happen there, it's just that there are new avenues that criminals are trying to exploit. But regulation always lag behind. For example, in Australia, where I live, cryptocurrency will be fully regulated for anti-money laundering compliance only in April 2026, which is a solid 17 years after the first Bitcoin was mined. So there's been 17 years of time in which money launderers have exploited cryptocurrency, and from next year, we'll make sure to check better. These online spaces like cryptocurrency and online game that I discussed in this video, they are just the new frontier of money laundering, and I'm sure we'll just keep talking about that in the years to come. If you made it till here, thank you so much. My name is Julia. I'm a certified anti-money laundering compliance specialist. In my day job, I help businesses comply with anti-money laundering regulations. And here on YouTube, I talk about money laundering, fraud, financial crimes, all of these things. And if you're interested, please comment, like, subscribe. All of these things really help the channel. And I'll see you on the next one.